All right. We are live. Time to make sure I can be heard. All right. We are live. Yep, I can hear myself. All right. So this is going to just kind of be a live Q&A. We already kind of talked about the Lions and like my breakdown yesterday. So I thought today would be a good day to take questions and see what you guys want me to talk about. And yeah, and then I can't be doing lives on Sundays because reasons. And so yeah, this is just gonna kind of be me talking about what's going on with the Lions, what we're doing, and I will take your guys' questions. I see we already got one viewer in here, so it's pretty nice to see. Hopefully, number will increase, and I can start taking your guys' real questions. And next weekend, I will be breaking down the 49ers game after it happened, what went well, what went wrong, and then kind of talk about the Ravens game. Because I'm only going to be able to post weekends. School is insanely takes away my time. So, all right, so let's get this started. What's your question, first viewer? Appears we don't. It might just be mine. Oh, never mind. We got two viewers in here. Okay, so it's not just my StreamYard glitching out here. This probably should. Yeah. So I also will be saying that I want to start out with Matt Nelson's going to be our right tackle, and our left tackle is going to be Sewell. This is something that a couple people have asked me on what's going on. So that's the big topic there. Now, you guys can ask me any question you want, but Oregon beating OSU 28-14, third quarter. Good for Oregon. I always cheer for those kind of like Cascade region teams. Also, welcome in here. Here's Johnny. Welcome to the live. D, how do you think Goff is going to do this Sunday? Well, I actually had a statistical prediction from the other day, but I think I had him at like 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, I think. Let me go back to a real quick stat. No, that's line stat. That's for the season. But I think he'll have a good game. Don't underestimate Goff this game just because Decker's hurt. I still think there's going to be a good chance of playing well. Probably because Big V knows how to run block and passing schemes at guard. For sure. Here it is. So my prediction for Jared Goff is that he would have a 65% completion percentage, 248 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns. That was my prediction. And then we were going to win 24-17. Well, I also just don't think our line is something could become like terrible now that Taylor Decker's gone. If our line was truly going to be top 10, like everyone was talking about, losing one tackle is not going to hurt us that badly. Part of having a top 10 line is having depth, not just a starting core. So it's kind of my thoughts for that spot there. What do you guys want to talk about there? But also, in regards to Goff, I do think he could play better than my predictions. Because I was kind of like looking at the San Francisco 49ers. When I was looking at those 49ers cornerback stats, I really think he might pop off. Quan Williams has issues with completion percentage. And I don't like their slot. The only corner who's any good is Jason Barrett. So we still got the best center in the game, and you're moving the rookie back to his natural position. And we got Jonah Jackson. Jonah Jackson is the most underrated player on our offensive line. This guy had over 1,000 snaps, allowed 5 sacks, but he also started out really, really good. He didn't really start struggling until maybe end of the year. You gotta expect there are gonna be rookie growing pains. That's a good pass blocker. He was doing some really good pressure numbers too. He was a good guard. We still have Jonah Jackson, we still have Ragnow, and we still have Sewell. And I still think Big V will improve. Lots of people talking about Crosby. He's on IR, and the Lions cannot sign him to active this year. That, and I also don't think Crosby is that much better than Nelson. Matt Nelson did the exact. Tyler Crosby has had one good game. One game that really popped off to everyone. That's when everyone started like Crosby. And that was his good game against Khalil Mack. Matt Nelson did a good game against Khalil Mack, too. They allow a single pressure or sack versus one of the best pass rushers in the game. I like Matt Nelson. Matt Nelson, on 242 snaps played, had 0 sacks allowed. So in our limited time we've seen from Matt, he's been a pretty solid tackle. And so, if Crosby would somehow solve our problems, why? He didn't play better than Matt Nelson in the preseason or camp. Crosby wanted to get traded, and no one was willing to trade for Crosby. So, I'm not a fan of Crosby as of right now. Agreed. Nice. Crosby hasn't been good. Yeah, he hasn't been good for some time. I'm not a big fan of the guy. In the first 10 games of the season, he allowed 29 quarterback pressures. And he had, I think it was 3 sacks allowed. Granted, he was switching in and out with Big V. Come on, man. Where Ramhouse? I could. I was hoping to try to get him on the other day, and I tried to talk to him today, but I think he's just going to be a bit busy. And I kind of was looking at the rest of my day, and he was talking about maybe being able to. You'll have to see if he was able to come on, but I only really have time to do it at the current period that I'm doing now, and so I wasn't able to get him on. I wasn't able to get Brown Central on either. I wasn't. So those are the 2 guys I had in mind bringing on. But oh well, I guess just me, gentlemen. Some fans are like baby birds crying for a worm. Well, that's the thing. Not all of our fans are these huge geniuses. That's just bound to happen in every franchise. Not everybody knows, okay, this player's going to be good, this player knows they're not bound to every set. Not everyone's as big as a fan as some other person, right? Kind of shows to me that, okay, it's just going to be that way. I will say this. Matt Nelson and Crosby don't have that big of a talent difference. But Matt Nelson also has this. He's cheap and he's healthy. Tyler Crosby, contract ends at the end of the year. Coach said Crosby wasn't one of their best. Yep. Crosby is really overrated by Lions fans. We all make fun of Big V for all his sacks. I'm just going to kind of show you the differences. A lot of people, they base this off of sacks for these guys. On 450 snaps played, Big V allowed 6 sacks. Also, this comment is very true. Big V actually had a really nice stretch for a good while. Tyler Crosby on 657 snaps allowed 5 sacks. There's not much of a snap difference, yet Crosby only has 1 less sack. I think you do fine at guard. I think Big V would do great at guard. Well, not great, but I think he'll be good at guard. I think Logan Stenberg would be better, but Big V, he honestly actually did a good job last season when they actually put him in at guard. He had some really nice games. It was the fact that it was in and out of putting him at tackle and guard. He didn't have an off season. He had an injured foot, whatever. He actually had some solid games. I don't think Big V will be nowhere near as bad as people make him out to believe that he will be. One of the games I thought really popped out for me with Big V was the game versus New Orleans, but yeah. Yo, what up? What up, Avery? Day joke, for sure. But I truthfully just think that this O-line is still going to be fine. For all the people that talked about us having a top 10 O-line, if Taylor Decker, our only left tackle, getting hurt, then that wasn't a top 10 O-line. That was maybe a top 15. But that is not. Yeah. One day they should let you. They should let your show down the road and start a podcast. Hopefully by November. Who should let me? Is there? I don't know. That switching back and forth. So I actually got an explanation for this for you, Spirit. Here, I don't think they necessarily wanted to. It's because Matt Nelson took this offseason practicing a right tackle. That's what Matt Nelson played right tackle. That's his only spirit of playing. Matt Nelson's technically less experienced at the right tackle position and left tackle position than even our rookie Penei Sewell. Matt Nelson only has 257 snaps at tackle. He played defensive end in college. So he only has 2 years of actually playing tackle compared to Sewell, who's only had 1 year, but he actually had all those college years. I do think this might stunt Sewell's growth a bit by moving him to left tackle. We didn't have a good backup left tackle. This was my biggest concern when it came to the O-line. We just got to acknowledge that Sewell also, his natural position was the left tackle. So, what up, Spirit of Detroit? By D. D says, still a beast. I think we better equipped than last time Decker was hurt and we had Greg Robinson at left tackle. For sure. Exactly. Top 15. 100%. And I still think this O-line can do a fine job. The only question is, how will Sewell do going back to his natural position? Truthfully, I was more of a fan of moving Sewell to left tackle and moving Decker to right tackle due to the fact that Taylor Decker actually played right tackle in college. Actually even played statistically better in college at right tackle. Also glad to have you on this freaking show, my guy. By the way, my good sir, I really liked your latest, I think, or was it the second latest live? No, it was a 3 stats the Lions must improve on 2021. That was the video. And your Miami video. Those were really good. One day you should let me join the show and chat sports up with y'all. I'm trying to start my own podcast in November, hopefully. D, just go to Luke G's Discord and contact me. I'm 100% fine with doing that. I'd even be fine bringing you on right now, if it be need be. Andrew, what's your podcast going to be named? Because if I do bring you on, I would have to shout out your channel. Think this: Sewell practicing right side is like wax on, wax off training. Made him stronger. Maybe. We'll have to see. This is an entire season of wait and see. That's why before even Decker got hurt, I was always like 7 to 8 wins because that's the middle ground record. It's not bad. It's not great or fantastic, all that. And so, yeah. Should have kept Crosby. I don't know about that because I don't like Tyrell Crosby. I've never been a big fan of Tyrell Crosby after last year. I don't think Penei Sewell will play worse than Tyrell Crosby would have. I think Sewell will play better. But it's like what you say here, Avery. Stunt his growth. Because he straight up said it himself, the left tackle and right tackle position are very different. It's like learning a whole new position. And now you're putting it back at the spot that he was not practicing this offseason to go for. And that does concern me. And he's going to have to be playing that position for the next 4 to 5 games since Taylor Decker's on IR, which I really don't get. He only hits finger, man. If I figure out Taylor Decker's surgery, it just sounds like his freaking pinky, man. And that keeps him out for the next 5 games. I'm literally going to be so pissed. There we go. Crosby's not as good as Sewell, Nelson, or Big V at tackle. I don't know if Crosby was better than Big V, but barely. Like, barely better than Big V at right tackle. I don't. I'm gonna let y'all in a couple weeks after I pass my. I don't know what that is. What's up, guys? Thanks. Oh yeah, totally. By the way, guys, if any of y'all are not subbed to Avery's channel, go and sub this guy. He's got some good stuff. He does a good variety of stuff. I mostly like purely analytics. This guy puts in kind of analytics and history. Avery does a lot of things that I think it's kind of interesting. He's like a variety channel. Sometimes he talks about basketball. I'm not much of a basketball person, but he also still does things like a good example of what I think his channel can be is watch his video on what the Lions can learn from the Miami Dolphins. He does a really good job of comparing teams. And even then he still puts up stats. He's sometimes still hilarious. I love he does good thumbnails, and he's always doing collabs of great YouTubers. So go give his channel a shout out there. Oh yeah. Need surgery, I guess. Yeah, I know. But Jason Pierre-Paul played has like no fingers yet he's playing. Like what happened to his finger? Is it like nearly freaking falling off or something? I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. Crosby overrated. For sure, D. As Spirit of Detroit Lions podcast is legit. Oh yeah, man. What are the keys for the defense to shut down the 49ers offense? Make Jimmy Garoppolo have to win the game. I'm going to give you a couple examples. The San Francisco 49ers. Everyone agrees. What is their strength? The run game. Correct? Everyone knows the San Francisco 49ers need a good run game going. Jimmy Garoppolo does not have the pass attempts because the team is going to rely heavily on the run game. I decided to look the other day. Okay, what happens when Jimmy G actually kind of like is required to pass? Because I noticed he did not pass that often in his good old playoff year. But when he was forced to throw versus Arizona, the team lost. And in 2019, kind of looked. Versus the Chiefs, they tried to throw too much and they lost. 46 attempts versus Seattle in 2019, they lost in overtime. After Jimmy G played horrible. 5 yards per throw. 34 versus Atlanta, lost. The way you beat the 49ers is forcing Jimmy Garoppolo to have to pass the ball and shutting down the run game. This is just kind of historically true for the 49ers lately. If we go into 2020, if we go into 2020, Mostert versus Arizona, 56 yards lost for the 49ers. And then if you go to 2019, versus Kansas City, Mostert, 58 yards. Then you go to Seattle, 40 yards for Coleman. 54 yards versus Atlanta. Then during his beginning of 2018 season, Minnesota beats Jimmy G after holding Matt Breida to 46 yards. Kansas City forcing, it's just the truth. We have to force that from happening. Fireworks. Oh, I know. That's just my thing. Jason Pierre-Paul's not playing with fingers, and apparently, I don't know what happened to Taylor Decker's finger. How's Sewell going to do? I think Sewell will do fine. I think Nick Bosa's going to get double teamed, and there's no one else in the 49ers front seven that scares me in the pass rush. I'm not scared of the 49ers pass rush other than Nick Bosa, and that's it. We will stop them. You don't want to bite it off like the 49ers safety Hall of Famer dude. I did not know that. Jeez. What up, Johnny? Betting on Oregon to cover, not over yet. Interesting. I like our D line, but our linebackers not so much. I can get behind that. I love our outside linebackers. I assume you mean our inside. But I think our inside linebackers are going to be okay enough. Jamie Collins has been good. 2020 he was good. 2019 he was elite. The question mark is how good can Alex Anzalone be? And we already know that Derek Barnes splash potential. And so I decided to look. Alex Anzalone, he's not good at anything other than coverage. 2019 he didn't have enough coverage spots, but in his limited coverage spots and 3 targets, he had a 6.3 yards per catch. 2018, 7.4 yards per catch, 0 touchdowns, 84.6 rating. Last year, he only allowed 7.6 yards per target, but he did allow 2 touchdowns and 118 rating. So we got ourselves something that we haven't had. A linebacker that can do a decent job in coverage, and we got Jamie Collins who has been good in coverage. And Barnes of his potential. So there's at least hope for our inside linebackers to be good enough to not lose us games like they were during the Patricia era. We still gotta get home on pass rush, or we're gonna have Jimmy G looking like Aaron Rodgers. How do you not believe him? I 100% believe our pass rush is gonna actually be a strength this year. Romeo Okwara and Trey Flowers have historically been top 5 in quarterback pressures in their starting years. Romeo Okwara last year's top 5 quarterback pressure. Trey Flowers, a majority of his NFL career, has actually been a top 5 quarterback pressure leader. And now we have Michael Brockers. I know he's kind of listed as questionable. I think he can play. Lee McNeil, a no tackle that can actually take up double teams. Nick Williams has historically actually had a good year as a pass rusher. We got Levi O. We got Deshaun Hand. Although, actually, never mind. I think Hand might be starting out in IR this year. Either way, it's a much better pass rusher. I think we'll handle it. The only proven lineman on the San Francisco 49ers right now is actually Trent Williams. Go look at the old line. Kind of regressed. Lincoln Tomlinson's pretty nice, but he's not an insane guard. He's not unbeatable. Alex Mack is meh. He's no Ragnow. He's no Kelsey or whatever. He's all right. Mike McGlinchey is coming off a down year. I think the Lions pass rush is going to do pretty good. Shout out to you, Ammon Analytics. You the best. Oh, thanks, my guy. I do it. it's just so fun to actually interact with other communities and all that. And honestly, I respect your channel, man. You are probably my in that top three of my favorite Lions YouTubers that I watch daily. You and Luke, and yeah, are up there. 100%. D. Ronnie Lott bit off his finger during a game to keep playing. Really? Barnes can be a stud, and Alexis Solid can't stay healthy. Facts. Decker not a biter. They got to stay healthy. Flower definitely for sure. Trey Flowers has got to stay healthy. We know it is because when he was healthy in 2019, he was one of the best D linemen at the end of the season. He just needs to keep that health up. 49ers right tackle thinks that pass blocking. So he's normally pretty good, but last year was just such a down year for him. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just because he was dealing with a bad quarterback, but he had 5 penalties and 5 sacks allowed, and I believe he had 30 quarterback pressures. So it was a down year for him for sure, but I don't think he's anyone insane. I believe Romeo lined up at the right side, I think Romeo Okoro would eat him up. I truly do. I think this is going to be a good day I think it's going to be a good game. I'm not guaranteeing that we're going to beat the 49ers anymore due to the fact that we did lose Decker, and there is a possibility that Brockers is not playing. Okay, what? I need to know the story behind this. Luke G and the catch-up. No one has ever, truly explained this to me. When I asked Luke, he just said no comment. Y'all are just obsessed with this ketchup meme. Ketchup and mustard, by the way, is just some bueno combo on a hot dog. And burgers. It's just fantastic. Wow, now I want a burger. But I don't know. I think this is just going to be such a fun game to watch tomorrow. Wow. But yeah, I know everyone's kind of saying we're going to get blown on the media. It's just false. It's just not going to be that case. The 49ers are not the team that they were in 2019. Our team is not the same it was in 2020. Yeah. Arizona Heat blew up a catch-up battle on a rental car. Oh my gosh, really? He just told you all about that? That's fantastic. Oh, I love that. That's so Arizona. Give me a number of the Lions' offense and defense. Their total rank? Or what I think would be their total numbers versus the game. No check if Chuck upon a turn looked like a bloodbath. He doesn't fess up to it. Oh, this is fantastic. I love this. Oh, that's just bad. I really hope, bro. I hope that continues to be an inside joke till the end of days. But yeah, to answer, I think you mean total ranks D for the Lions. I think our offense will be ranked 16th, and I think our defense will be ranked 18th. I think we're going to improve defensively and slightly regress offensively. But this is a team that it's really hard to predict because we have a new receiver core. Our running back core is entirely different other than Swift. New quarterback. Our head coach is different. Our defensive coordinator is different. Our offensive coordinator is different. Even our assistant head coach is different. Our special team is different. Our kicker and return men are different. Our inside linebacker core is different. Our front seven's entirely different. It's been moved around and changed. Our cornerback core, we have a new slot corner. We have a new fourth corner. There's the question mark of Okuda. Which Okuda are we getting? I do think it will improve. Now, I do want to show something real quick when it comes to people who say it's kind of impossible that our defense can get that much better. It's good. Here we go, Miami Dolphins. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be the 2020 Miami Dolphins, but the 2020 Miami Dolphins had the 25th ranked offense and the 32nd ranked defense. So they were around the same spot as us. They now have 32 touchdowns and 12 interception ratio. Dang. So then, what if we move to the 2020 Miami Dolphins? Oh, dang. It really just... sometimes I hate my laptop, sometimes I love my laptop. There we go. They went all the way from 25 to 15th in offense and went from 32nd to 6th on defense. So 10 spots up on their offensive rank. Went from 32nd to 6th. Went from 5-11 to 10-6. It is very possible that our team gets that much better. All right, now what else do y'all want to talk about? But also, player to watch for the game for the Lions, I think it's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think T.J. Hawkinson's going to be a bit in and out of being in our play style, since I think he's going to be mostly as a blocking and being used as a decoy. I think Amon-Ra's going to go crazy. I think Verrett might have a solid time against Tyler Williams, but I think Amon-Ra's just going to kill San Francisco. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Khalif Raymond gets a nice catch. I'm also excited to see what our second receiver is going to be, whether it be Raymond or Cephas. And also going to be, and maybe another player to watch, Trinity Benson. I really honestly hope our receiver core is number 1, Tyrell, number 2, Amon-Ra, number 3, Benson, number 4, Cephas. That's my ideal first 4 receivers. But I went to go click on my live to make sure I wasn't missing anything, and somehow I got D&D. Just okay. I love ads, man. I love ads. Yeah. I think it's Cephas too. I don't know, because I'm thinking like in and out of depth charts. I've heard depth charts say it's Cephas. I've heard depth charts say it's Raymond. So I have no idea. I don't think it shouldn't be Raymond. It doesn't make any sense for it to be Raymond. Cephas is A, been at the team for a year. 2, has actually gotten real catches. C, played well in the preseason. 4, had himself also a good training camp. Raymond was just good in training camp. Why wouldn't Earth would he be our number 2? I really hope it's Cephas. 28-21, Oregon versus OSU, fourth quarter, Ducks ball. Ohio State favored by 14.5. Oh wow! How? Wow! Oregon is Oregon really gonna choke this game? It's gonna be interesting. Yo, we got Omar in the building. Decker will be out over a month. Yep, I heard about that. I heard he's been sent to IR. If we still had Stafford with this roster, what would we nation be saying? I feel like it'd be the same crap. I feel like people would still be saying the Lions are going to be good. We'd have the Lions fans saying Stafford's underrated. It would just be the normal Lions season, honestly. I'm not a huge Stafford guy, so I don't know. I wouldn't be as hyped. Who has a better game, Goff or Jimmy Garoppolo? I think it's going to be Goff. I'm not a big fan of Jimmy G. Noah Sewell is playing middle linebacker for Ducks. See, I'd actually really love for our future middle linebacker core to consist of Derek Barnes and Noah Sewell. I would really love that to be our middle linebacker duo. And then Pittman rotating in there, that linebacker spot. He really impressed me in the preseason. That's a good linebacker. Will Sewell stay at left tackle when Deck comes back? The only way that is possible is if Sewell plays as good as Decker or better than Decker at left tackle. Sewell will be our left tackle for now. I don't see that changing now. Yeah, that won't change. Sewell will be our left tackle until Decker comes back. Only way possible. Here we go. I've got it. But by the way, I also say this. Big prediction, Jeff Okudah shuts down Deebo Samuel. Because I was thinking about Jeff Okudah's number one strength even last year is run stuffing. And he was actually doing a pretty good job at tackles for loss. So, let me show you an example of this. Jeff Okudah. That was like his one thing that he was good at. In 9 games played, he had 47 tackles and 4 tackles for loss. So that's something to think about. And considering the fact that Deebo Samuel is used heavily in screens and bubbles and short intermediate throws, I think Jeff Okudah's going to have a field day against Deebo Samuel. Why everybody think Goff is such a downgrade? Well, I will tell you this. Because Jared Goff is not popular. Jared Goff is not flashy. Jared Goff doesn't do the no-look throws. Jared Goff, I don't know. It's because he's not flashy. Goff is an example of boring yet effective. Jared Goff is like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not out here doing no-look passes or insane throws. But yet, Tom is effective at everything. He's not flashy. He's effective. And so that's what Jared Goff is. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Stafford. But he's accurate. He's smart. He's an elite game manager that can throw the ball deep if need be. Do we still have Justin Coleman? No. What's our corners looking like? Our number 1 corner is Jeffrey Okudah. Our number 2 corner is Amani Oruwariwe. Our slot cornerback is undrafted free agent A.J. Parker, who was a preseason stud and training camp stud. Our 4th corner is Vitu Melifowanu. Our 5th corner is Jerry Jacobs. Our 6th corner is Bobby Price. He's probably our backup slot. Agreed at Omar. If he plays well, should stay permanent. Ducks just keep scoring. For sure. But so, by the way, do y'all want to know my scoring predictions for each NFL game? Because I was kind of looking at that earlier, and I'm like, well, this could be an interesting thing to see game. Come on, show up. I know that. I got the Ducks to vet the OSU favorite 14.5, 35-1, 10-10 left. Good, cool. I don't get betting odds, man. Probably because I'm not a bettor, but. So, here we go. I'll screen share if y'all, because Omar just agreed that he's like, yeah, let's hear your predictions. So my football scores. Let's see, can you guys see that a bit better? I'm going to remove the comment real quick. Whoop. See that good? You guys can see that good. All right. So, Eagles versus Falcons. That game could go either way, but I think Atlanta's slightly better. I think Atlanta's got the offense. They got Calvin Ridley, and they got Kyle Pitts, and they got Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan's a proven quarterback. Jalen Hurts is not. Calvin Ridley is more proven than the entire Eagles receiving team. The defense is the only one in question for Atlanta, but I think Atlanta just offensive firepower is going to be just so much better than Philly. It's going to be a dub for Atlanta. Pittsburgh versus Bills. Buffalo wins. Buffalo, I think, still has a good defense, and I think it's even more improved this year, especially with the additions of Greg Ruscio and Carlos Basham. And then, of course, they have the explosive offense that Buffalo has with Josh Allen leading the core. I can't give you a score prediction, maybe, but I can try giving you this one a score. This one will be 28-21 Bills win. And for the Falcons game, I have no idea. I think since both teams are not going to be that great, 31-24 Falcons. Minnesota, I think that's going to be a dub for Minnesota. The Bengals do not have a good line. They have a questionable receiver in Jamar Chase. Really, man? I didn't even press anything. They have a questionable line. Jamar Chase has been dropped a lot lately. Minnesota's Vikings have Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen. I think Minnesota wins that game 26-14. 49ers versus Detroit Lions, 24-17. Lions win. Lions got just see my breakdown video. Shout out to that. Cardinals versus Titans. I think the Titans are going to absolutely murder the Arizona Cardinals 35-17. The Titans have themselves an improved defense, in my opinion. I do think their defense is slightly underrated, and the Titans got themselves some pretty good offensive pieces. Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, all pretty scary players. Arizona's got themselves the question marks of old stars that have turned into the upsetters. Seahawks versus Colts. Seattle, I think, will have a tough time versus Arizona. Colts have got themselves the defense. And I'm going to go with Indianapolis. Why? The Seattle Seahawks do the quarterback, Jacoby's versus Wilson. It's a tough defense to beat. And I think the Colts will be manageable just fine. I kind of like Jacob Eason in the draft process. They also got Jonathan Taylor, a really good running back. I think they will be running heavily on Seattle, which is great for my school fantasy team. And so that's a dub. I think Colts win it 24-14. Chargers versus Washington. I think this might be one of the games to watch. But I think the Chargers will win it 24-17 versus the Washington football team. Washington has the question marks at offense all over. What kind of Fitzpatrick are you getting? Is there going to be is Antonio Gibson going to have the repeat? Is that O-line going to hold up after the loss of Morgan Moses? How's it going to do? What about Eric Flowers being traded away? What is the issue there? So that's definitely something to think about. Jets versus Panthers. I think it's a Panthers victory. I think having Christian McCaffrey there, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall. I think Sam Darnold can at least play like an average to above average quarterback, and I think their defense has some bonding pieces. They have Cross Matos, they have Brian Burns, they have Derek Brown, Deontay Jackson. I think they got some promise. The Jets, I think, have so many question marks, even though I think Zach Wilson will have a good game, 24-21. Well, I have 24 in a lot of my number predictions. Jags versus Texans. I think this is going to be an interesting game, but I'm going to give the game to the Jags 17-14. T-Law is a better quarterback than Tyrod Taylor already, in my opinion. Tyrod hasn't been good in years, and T-Law showed promise in the preseason. Browns versus Chiefs. I'm sorry, Brown Central, but I think the Chiefs will win. They got the offensive firepower, and they improve the defense, and the Chiefs have an incredible line, which could hurt the Browns' pass rush. Dolphins versus Patriots. I think the Patriots will win. The Dolphins, I think, are massively improved. The Patriots also massively improved. They actually got receivers, and they got the best head coach in football, and a good offensive coordinator, and a good run game with Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. Mac Jones showed promise in the preseason, enough to even actually overthrow Cam Newton. Packers versus Saints. I think the Packers will beat the New Orleans Saints. The Packers got themselves a good offense. They have Aaron Rodgers in it, and that honestly is one of the few players that can make an offense good by himself. And the Saints have a very big question mark of Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston has never had a good touchdown pick ratio or completion percentage in his entire NFL career. How will he even handle his Packer duties? Denver Broncos versus New York Giants. I had the New York Giants beating the Broncos 26 to 14. Denver has a very questionable offense. Teddy Captain check down Bridgewater. I'm not a big fan of. I don't think Melvin Gordon is insane enough to somehow manhandle the Giants, and I do think the Giants will have an improved offense. Bears versus Rams. I think the Los Angeles Rams will beat the Chicago Bears. I just don't like the Bears any spot of the football other than where Khalil Mack is. Allen Robinson. Ravens versus Raiders. Ravens will win 24 to, I think, 14. Raiders have too many question marks to ever give them the dub. So that's my predictions for the week. And yeah, so let's see what you guys all hear. Ooh, here's John. He says the Steelers are going to upset the Buffalo Bills. And Troy says, is Roby Coleman going to be playing? Nikhil Roby Coleman is not on our active roster, I don't think. Nikhil Roby Coleman. I think he's on our practice squad. Yeah, he got cut and now he's on our practice squad. Also, sad news, the Lions cut Javon McKinley in favor of that tackle that we added, which I think is just stupid. Sage Surratt did nothing in the preseason when McKinley was actually like somewhat explosive and, good. And he's still on our practice squad, but we dropped McKinley. Doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so what do y'all want to talk about now? I'm getting way too many yawns. It's freaking 1:19. Why am I already yawning? Sure. Again, not missing comments. All right. Well, yeah. I know. Well, not only that, McKinley actually caught the couple deep balls. Surratt was just not good. He had one catch for 5 yards his entire preseason. I don't think he was that fantastic as a blocker. McKinley must have gotten hurt again. It's the only explanation for me. Because I actually thought McKinley actually had a possible chance to make the team. He played that well. I don't know what made them think Sage Surratt was the better choice. I don't know. I do like our cute quarterback, Steven Montez. I think he's better than 2-yard Boyle. Yeah. Also, for the defense, I was thinking about this while I was talking. For the player to watch out on the defense not named Romeo Quora, watch out for Will Harris. I think Will Harris can have himself a really good game. Because him and Walker are probably going to be tasked with covering the impossible George Kittle. And being tasked with run stopping. So, those two are definitely the players to look out for and see how they play well. I didn't think that either cutting Surratt. I didn't get that either cutting McKinley, but they kept Surratt. Yeah, I really don't. Maybe there's just something that we don't know that they do. And so, I don't know. Who are the Lions calling up to the active squad? What's Wars active? Oh, what receivers active? big question marks. Who are the Lions going to be calling up from the active from the practice squad? That's going to be interesting to see if we do call up anyone in the active squad since Taylor Decker is on IR. If I had to make a guess, I think it's probably looking at the practice squad. So welcome, Dr. Detroit. I see you in there. I would probably say Tommy Kramer. I think it's probably gonna be Tommy Kramer. Actually, never mind. I think it'll be Darren Paulo, our tackle from Utah, just to be backup depth at the tackle position. Receivers 5-12. Why do you say 5-12, Dr. Detroit? I'm actually curious about that. My record has not changed at all. In fact, I love our set of cuts. I was like one of the only Lions fans. The only cut I disliked was Javon McKinley. That was in my opinion, not logical, but maybe Benson and Hodge are better. I think our receivers are good. I like our receivers. I love the addition of Benson and Hodge. Like Trinity Benson, like y'all need to look at his route score. This guy's like 6 foot, fast 40, had a good preseason, great route running. Oh my word. So excited to see this guy. Hodge, I don't think he's going to be anything special, but I think he's a good, solid player. Rams House actually really sold me on Kadero Hodge. And he's honestly first time machine. I think Dosha Dion had a pretty good video on him that I was pretty much what got the Rams House kind of talked about. But this guy's 6'2", 205 pounds. He's got a fast 40. And these last 2 seasons, he's averaged 16 yards or more catch, 19.1 in 2019, 16.4 last year. So he's pretty good at what he does. He had a good game against Philly, 3 catches for 73 yards. Another good game versus Cincinnati, 2 catches, 39. So kind of like a bigger Marvin Hall kind of a guy is what we got, who can actually do more than just a streak route. So that's pretty nice. Lions can call up 2 guys for sure. We should see Sewell, Big V, Ragnow, Big V, Nelson as our starting line, right? Correct. I'd actually I honestly, if Nelson does suck up, by the way, guys, for these next couple of weeks, I would not be surprised if the Lions sign a tackle, such as maybe Jason Peters. But if we keep one of our current roster, I wouldn't be surprised if we move Big V back to right tackle and then put in Stenberg at right guard. But I do think right now I think we're set. I think this whole line will be fine. But Detroit, I'm still curious. Why do you think we're going to go 5-12? Is it just Decker's injury? Because I don't think that's enough. If the left tackle meant that much to our team, I am very questionable about that. Because, truthfully, I think our receiver corps suddenly did get better when we added Benson and Hodge. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is good. I think Cephas is good. I think Tyler Williams is good. We don't per se have a superstar. We have a lot of guys who could do a variety of good things. All guys are good at what they do. Tyler Williams can do everything. Okay, good to know. Cephas is great at contested catches. He's even pretty good at getting separation. Amon-Ra's good at everything a bit. Then you go ahead and you get some guys who specialize at things. Khalif Raymond, deep threat, pretty good at burning a play and getting a nice little streak. Tom Kennedy kind of good at that Danny Amendola role. And then you go ahead and then you get Kadero Hodge, a guy who's, that big Marvin Hall who can kind of do a bit more routes. Kind of a big deep threat, kind of what Perriman was supposed to be. Then you got Trinity Benson, kind of the normal slot receiver you'd get. So guys who can all do their own variety of things. Guys who are all solid. So I don't think it can't be the receivers. Is it Goff? I don't think Goff will be that bad. I actually like Goff. The only question mark is, will the O-line protect Goff enough for him to do well? Then what about our defense? Okay, you got me there. It's a questionable defense. But Miami had the exact same problem. They went 32nd, worst in the league, to 6th over an offseason. Who's to say we can at least improve to an average defense? So how are we going to go from the same amount of wins we had last year under the worst head coach in franchise history other than the 2008 head coach to the same record? When that head coach was 5-7 in interim at Miami, which was also terrible with not even his own picked staff. I just think there's arguments for both sides. I legitimately think there is nothing that me or you can say, we know what this record's going to be. We know how good this team's going to be. For sure. We got ourselves a new quarterback. The only returning running back we've got is DeAndre Swift. Our receiver core is entirely different. I don't think we've retained a single receiver other than Tom Kennedy. Our tight end core has changed with Darren Fells. Our line's going to be different with the addition of Sewell. Our defense has entirely changed. We got a new slot corner, 2 new defensive tackles. We got ourselves 2 new inside linebackers, a new defensive coordinator, a new head coach, actually, never mind. We got 3 new defensive tackles, including Brockers. This isn't a team that me or you can predict correctly. That's why I'm legitimately saying we're going to be 7 to 8 wins. Out of all the teams in the NFL, I know for a fact that I will not be able to predict this team. This team could slap me in the face and get 3 wins, or they can slap me in the face and get 13. But for now, I'm still a 7 or 8 win person. Because I feel like that's a middle of the road record for a team that we don't know enough about. People think Stafford got a few wins last year in the comebacks. What they don't see is he played poor all game before those. He played a bunch of poor games. Rams House talked about this. Matthew Stafford did indeed get the most comebacks in a decade, but how many comeback opportunities did Matthew Stafford have? Probably more than any other quarterback in the NFL as well. I don't think losing Stafford or a receiver suddenly makes us go 5 wins to 5 wins. I don't. I agree there's question marks in this team. And we could get the 5 wins, but we could also still just be a better team. I could totally say that. Me and Dr. Detroit have even said that. Unless you mean it's in a negative connotation. Like 5-12. Like we're going to definitely, man, we suck or whatever. That really just doesn't change anything for me. The only thing that I've actually seen from this Lions team that I like, we're not old. I remember in the 2018 season under Matt Patricia, we were old. Diggs, Slay, Quinn. We brought in Taven Wilson, who was more of an older vet from New England. We brought in Devin Kennard, kind of a mid-vet guy. We traded for Snacks. Our offense was old as well. We had Marvin Jones and Golden Tate. Our running back core was the only thing that was young at all, but we also had Blunt, who was super old. Stafford was old. This team is much, much younger than when we started Matt Patricia and when we started with even Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell, we brought basically his entire team was just already returning players from the Schwartz era or than older vets like Jones, Jr., Marvin, and then you brought Tate, vet. This is the coaching staff that's actually dedicating to actually developing rookies and younger players. We kept Jerry Jacobs. We kept Bobby Price. We kept Pittman. We kept AJ Parker. We're even starting him. We're keeping we're 7 receivers apparently. We kept Jamar Jefferson. We kept Godwin and Igubukwe. We even got to keep Craig Reynolds on the practice squad, which I was kind of amazed by. We even brought in Austin Seibert, a young kicker. We have our young kicker. Our young punter, Jack Fox. It's definitely a nice start. I will say that for the Lions. Dr. Detroit has moved up to 5 games. Was that less previously? Nice to know. Decker always gets injured in practices. No idea what he does in practices. Facts. I don't think David Decker's actually gotten injured in a game. Maybe he's just like an animal in a practice. Also, what up, David? Nice to see you on the live. It's always good to have the good old Luke G Discordians here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited to see this season. I'm very excited to see the young players grow and develop. I'm very excited to see how good or bad this team's going to be, what parts are going to look into in depth. I've kind of gone into this year with no expectations other than be competitive and don't go winless. That's my entire expectations. And it's fun to think about it that way. Think, okay, this is the first year. Let's see what we can do. We're going to be bad in the road games, I feel. I think you honestly might be right on that one. If we look at our schedule, our road games, are Green Bay, Minnesota, Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Denver, Atlanta, Seattle. So yeah, we got ourselves a good fair share of hard road games. But I think we beat Chicago. I think we beat Minnesota. I think we beat Atlanta for sure. And Denver's a 50-50. But I do think Seattle, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland will beat us. And I think Green Bay will beat us in our first showdown. Los Angeles, I think, will probably beat us. Only because I think they're slightly more built. I got us a floor at 3 ceiling at 7 games. They must show us. For sure. I think we could get 10 wins possibly. My floor is 3 wins. My expectation, my prediction is 7 or 8 wins. My ceiling is 10 games at best. That's ceiling is very I think not likely, but it can happen. Very tough. Los Angeles, if we can stop their defense, for sure, we have a great chance. And yeah, that's the main reason. Los Angeles has the defense, and I'm one of the more I'm a pretty good fan of Sony Michel, but I also think Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp will still be good enough to be a threat. And Stafford has himself some good moments. All right. So, I think this is going to be the end of the live, y'all. I'll be seeing y'all next weekend. I will try to maybe do a video on maybe earlier if I can, but weekends are planned time where I'll talk about the game, the 49ers game on Friday, and then talk about the Ravens game on Saturday. Kind of give an in-depth statistical breakdown of the 49ers game, and then in-depth statistical breakdown of what the game's going to be versus Baltimore. I love you guys. You guys were awesome today. I love that we had so much participation. I'll see you all later.